All right, so I'm going to show you how to take the data from the pea germination lab, or it was also called the Respiration Lab, and take all of this data that you would get from the Vernier graphical analysis program, put it into a spreadsheet, and then make a graph of the data. Now, you've already hand graphed that data, but I'm going to show you how quickly and easily it is, or quick and easy it is to do it using the computer. So this is the setup you'll have. You'll have your data set 1, which is time, and you can see it goes all the way 0 to 900 seconds, which is what most of you took. And then it will have your germinating peas, and this is the parts per million of CO2. And then your non-germinating peas, this is your parts per million of the peas that were not germinating. So these were put into wet paper towels and let set overnight. These are just your standard peas you'd get in a package. So here we go. What you're going to do next is highlight. You could highlight these 3 columns. The easiest way to do it is to just highlight up here at the beginning and drag across so that all 3 columns are highlighted. And then we're going to go over here and click on the chart button. And it's going to come up with a basic setup like this. But this uses data set 1, your time. It tries to graph this, and we don't want that. So if you click down here, the aggregate column B, that takes the time and removes it and then just puts it down here on the bottom axis. So once we have that taken care of, we're ready to go to Move to Own Sheet, and you'll come up with a graph that looks like this. Now, this is not going to be acceptable because it doesn't have a proper title. It doesn't have the y-axis labeled with units, and it doesn't have the x-axis labeled with units. So it looks like it does have the germinating peas here labeled properly, and the non-germinating ones here. And the interesting thing to note, right, when they're germinating means they're starting to grow, they're respiring. So it's taking in the oxygen and the sugar and then giving off carbon dioxide and water. And we can see this increase in carbon dioxide over time, really quite substantial. And then in the peas that aren't respiring, aren't metabolizing, you can see that they're staying basically at a constant level of CO2 because none of the oxygen in the air is being taken out along with sugar and being turned into carbon dioxide and water. So now we need to edit this chart. We click on this, and it'll allow you to go in and customize what we need to do. And one of the things we need to do is the chart title. So like I said, this is not going to work. So we're going to start off with the effect of, and then you're going to fill in the IV on the DV. Now you've already done a title for your EDD. That would probably be a very effective title for this graph. So you're going to place that in. Remember the effect of the IV on the DV. Then we're going to need to give the horizontal axis a title. In this case, the horizontal axis, also known as the x-axis, is time. So we're going to need to label that time, and we're going to need to put the units that we measured the time in, and we're going to put them in parentheses, and so that's going to be seconds. And then we're going to need to label the vertical axis. And so the vertical axis is, this is the amount of CO2, and the units we measured that in were ppm, or parts per million. So now what we should have is a proper title, the x-axis labeled with proper units, the y-axis labeled with proper units. And when we're done with that, we can close this out. And we now have a nice looking graph that we can pick out particular data points on if we need to. Now, sheet 1, right, is going to be just right there. Your chart is right here, and you just click on those tabs to find it. Now, if you want to customize this, you can some more. If you want to put in some more lines or colors, or you want to make it a little more legible, you maybe want to change at what units the time is measured on here at the bottom, you're allowed to do that. But this is essentially what I need. And now what you'll want to do is, since this is a Google Classroom assignment, you'll want to go back to your main page of your Google Classroom and hit the Turn In button. Once you hit the Turn In button, I'll be able to grade what you have here.